Two Guys, One Bench.
Welcome to Two Guys, One Bench,
where we like to talk a lot of shit
and drop some truth bombs on your ass. So get your fucking Depends ready, because you're about to shit yourself. Boom!
Shit talking. Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rants of the Week. And boy, do we got a doozy here. Talk about fucking a two-faced government where the Calgary Stampede, the biggest show on earth, or whatever they call it, the Calgary Trampede, which is most famous for, it's being on this year. It's called on, and that's only about a month away from now. And it's full force. You know, there's usually about 1 million people that come to Calgary Darrell and indulge in the most bullshit carny fair you can imagine. There's a rodeo and all kinds of stuff, rides and whatever you can imagine a fair is. However, the biggest thing is people just get fucked up for about 10 days straight. And all businesses and everything have these corporate events, and everybody goes there and just gets shit canned. And let's not hide the fact that STDs go through the roof, affairs, divorces after the Stampede. It's just a fucking shit show. That's okay. We're bringing that back because Calgary needs that. And meanwhile, you know, gyms are closed down and restaurants are closed down. And so it's kind of definitely a big fuckery afoot going on here. How is that allowed where I can't even train someone one-on-one in my private facility? Drill.
Yeah, so a ex-client of mine, we used to talk about how every year around the Stampede, she worked at a testing lab. Every year, as soon as Stampede comes around, she's busier than ever because STDs are through the roof. If our government is so worried about keeping people safe and healthy, how come they're bringing back something that negatively affects most people's health? Like Russ mentioned, people are getting fucked up for 10 days trying to be a fucking cowboy when they've never worn a cowboy hat the other 355 days of the year. But all of a sudden for these 10 days, they're fucking bumping Old Town Road and a bunch of other shit they've never listened to in their life, wearing flannel with the rest of their crew. This is the dumbest thing they could bring to the city. It's all about our health. Yeah, but then 10 days after that, what are you going to do? Shut down our city again in our province because there's a massive outbreak? Because who could expect that with millions of people flying in to come ride fucking dangerous rides? That sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly believe that, yeah, the transmissions through restaurants are huge. And it's not restaurants, so to speak. It's those after hours where people are getting a little sloshy. They're getting hammered. They're drooling on each other, making out with the girl you just met, going to the same washroom, pissing on the floor, drinking off the floor. I don't know.
Tag teaming a girl outside the Saddle Dome.
Tag teaming a girl outside the Saddle Dome, snorting a fucking rail off of God knows what. That is what's going to get people sick. And yeah, talk about just meeting random people and being a drunken idiot. I just can't think of the worst way to, a better way actually, to spread COVID-19 than having the Stampede in town and having just a fuckery going on for about 10 days. And that's a bullshit.
Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps.
All right, and what I want to talk about is equality, or more so, lack of it, and how equality is really just a bullshit term people like to use whenever they're at a disadvantage. People love when things unrightfully advantage them, but as soon as things don't benefit them, they want to scream out for equality. I'll give you a great example. People like to, you might call it sexist, whatever. I don't really give a fuck right now. Something as simple as going to a nightclub that we were allowed to do years ago. Is it right that guys couldn't get in and that if you're a chick, you just walked by if you're hot? No, that's not right. But you weren't saying that's not right then. You were taking your ass straight through that line because, hey, shit benefited you. Is it right that guys are more likely to face a longer prison sentence than a woman for the exact same crime? No, it's not. But you're not screaming shit then. Or maybe in a divorce when a woman's more likely to get shit. Oh, when a woman's more likely to get the kids with them. It's okay then. No one's screaming equality then. But if anything, God forbid, sways towards a guy, then let's scream out equality, equality, equality. No one really wants it because think about it. When it comes to going on a date, ladies, do you want a guy to take you out, or do you want everything to be 50-50? Do you like him to pay for the dates? How do you want to live things? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? If you said you want to be a stay-at-home mom, if you want your guy to pay for your dates, any of that shit, that's not equality. 50-50 would mean you're holding your share and keeping up your end. I know some people are going to see it as sexist, but just be fucking consistent with what you want. Everybody has advantages and they exploit them. And most people don't call out bullshit when they're in the right and they're getting helped by things. But as soon as they don't have something go their way, they're screaming that the system's rigged and everything's unfair.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest, the subgroup of people that I dislike the most are white trash. Yeah, that's you, motherfucker, living in your trailer park, fucking just being a white piece of shit, redneck, racist. I don't care what it is, whatever stereotype you fit into. But think about it. You've had the most advantages out of anybody if you're a white guy or a white girl to get a job and have a career. But no, you choose to be a drunk or a drug addict, piece of shit. And so, I'm hating more on that group than anybody. So it's not that they're a certain color or whatnot. It's just what they're doing as as a person. What are you doing in your life? How are you adding to society? What is your passion? What are you following? Like, dial that in. If it's just to collect a paycheck and just get fucking slaughtered on the weekend, then what are we here for, bod?
Health and fiction. That's some bullshit.
Time for a little bit of health and fiction. What we want to talk about is COVID, because for most of us, it's literally all that we can see. Whether you turn on your phone, you turn on YouTube, you look at the news, it's all you're going to hear about: COVID, COVID, COVID. And unfortunately, for most people, they're only going to see the bullshit statistics that are made up to drive a fear-based narrative. So it makes you scared to go outside, makes you scared to see your loved ones or talk to your friends, and makes you scared to really question anything out there. Just accept the bullshit that they shovel you. Russ?
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, there's a reason why I've been kind of missing in action for the last little bit. Well, it usually takes a week to edit and put out a podcast. And Darrell had to take about 2 weeks off. Why? Because he had the COVID. And, actually he had it while we were on our last interview. And I was sitting right beside him for about 5 hours. And then we were working together on a tent I was putting outside so I could train my clients outside, but that wasn't allowed anymore. So fuck you, Nancy. And then also, drove him home. I didn't get it. Thank God. I don't know if the vaccine works or whatnot. I got that Moderna back about a month ago, but Darrell, him and his girlfriend had some COVIDs. How'd that go for you, Darrell?
Well, for both of us, it was kind of completely different symptoms. Keep in mind, me and my girlfriend work out and are physically fit. For my girlfriend, she was sick for about 2 days beforehand, but it was no different than really a cold. She just felt kind of shitty for 2 days. Yeah. Myself, I didn't really feel anything until I started getting a headache the night of that podcast. After the podcast, I started getting body aches and chills, but the aches I attribute more to the fact that I just worked out the day before and I was sore as fuck. So if your body's trying to fight something while you got crazy DOMs going on, it's not a great mix.
No.
And then I had chills really bad all night, couldn't sleep. I was shaking a lot. Next day I woke up, I felt no different than any other cold. It's by far the most mild flu I've ever had. I realized not everybody has that experience, but that was just mine. My girlfriend, on the other hand, she probably felt a little shittier for about 2 more days, and then she was fine. But then we had to quarantine through that whole time. Meanwhile, we're both working out at home. I didn't miss workouts. I just stayed at home, slept in a little bit longer, and got back to doing everything. And the whole process about it was so fucking flawed, because the testing, all they do is, if I hadn't tested positive, I had to wait 2 weeks till I was allowed out of quarantine, which is absolute bullshit, because if I was positive, which I turned out to be, I could leave in 10 days. How the fuck does that make sense? if I'm sick, I'm allowed to leave the house quicker. So it's an incentive to go get tested if you're feeling like shit. But then the cases will obviously go up, and then it's more excuses to keep us in the house longer.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I was checking in on Darrell on the daily. How are you doing, man? I was expecting to be on a ventilator in the hospital, or even getting worse, and just like, man, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. Nope, nothing. He was fine, and yeah, he's sending me videos of him squatting some super high reps at like 320 pounds. The underlying thing, Darrell, I think, is you can't stop this thing. No. It's like trying to, it's like a net that's just leaking water. You can never catch everything. It's always going to continue to have holes in it. And the best thing you can do is just let her go. And,
well, we've never stopped the flu. And every year people are getting vaccinated for. We've had it around for years and years and years. There's all this evidence that it's disappeared all of a sudden. It's like, did it, or are you just testing improperly? We've never stopped the flu, and it still kills more people than COVID. So this is just going to be something we have to deal with, because every couple months we hear about a variant out of somewhere. These new variants,
B117.
Yeah, these new. Meanwhile, the vaccine at the same time is killing people, but that's all pushed under the rug. Like, we got to get back to a happy medium where the other 99% of the world can just go about living their day. And if you feel uncomfortable and you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Who gives a shit? But for the people who don't want to wear a mask, or they want to live their lives, let them live their lives. If you feel that's endangering you, stay the fuck away from it. No one's saying you have to go into these stores. No one's saying you can't order shit. But how come we can't have both? Where if you want to be safer and wear your mask, it's allowed. But you shouldn't be forcing the other people to change their life habits just because you feel unsafe. We don't force overweight people to just stop eating because that makes us feel unsafe. They're experiencing something that's going to kill them. And we don't unreasonably make them have to change their life decisions because that's their body. If you want to eat until you're 500 pounds, fucking go for it. It's not our decision.
Exactly. And if you look at, I teach CPR. The number one killer amongst people all around the world is cardiovascular disease. And that is usually from mostly poor life choices, being overweight, type 2 diabetes. There are genetic dispositions, obviously, but it's mostly from a huge increase in just eating shitty food. In the last 100 years, fast food, processed foods, it's terrible. If you go down to the States, I've been down there several times the last few years, people are fucking ginormous. And in Canada, we got some fat fuckery as well. But it's just, the poor choices in eating foods and not being healthy and not working out. Like, if I want to crush a pizza like I did last night, I put in a huge week of workouts. I've been lifting hard, and I fast before I even eat that thing. So it's like I can have 2 meals in one, so I don't gain another 5 pounds. So I think the moral of the story here is you can't stop this. Let's get back to normal. There is no fucking way that people are going to put up with a fourth lockdown. It's going to cause some serious problems. So that's all we got to say.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Two Guys, One Bench. Join us next week on our segments, or go over to our other episodes and check out our interviews.
And don't forget to check out our sponsors. They're in the description below. They're awesome. Bunch of discount codes there. Check it out. A dish.
Two Guys, One Bench. Resolute. Prepare yourself for battle. Choices and consequences. Misfit. Bridge City brand. The Gilded Beard. Sculptech. SMP industry leader. Boost CBD. Unlock your true performance. Powerlifting motivation.
Her lifting.
With Jana. Her lifting inside edition.